Hey everyone, welcome back to Backyard Chicken Tales. I am excited to walk you through how to raise day-old baby chicks into healthy, fully grown chickens. I'll be sharing what's worked well for me in the past, but as always, I recommend doing plenty of research before bringing home your chicks. We'll cover key milestones, development stages, and the different environments and stimuli I introduce them to along the way. Before bringing home your chicks, it's crucial to have everything set up in advance. Here's what I use for a brooder. I prefer a plastic container over cardboard because it doesn't absorb moisture, and I start with paper towels instead of shavings or bedding. This prevents the chicks from eating the bedding since they're still learning what food is. I also avoid using newspapers because they can be harmful to the chicks' legs and may contain chemicals from the ink. Paper towels are my go-to choice. If you've ordered chicks by mail, they'll likely arrive in a container similar to what I use. After their long journey, it's important to get them settled and comfortable as soon as possible. In the beginning, I've always added a Save a Chick electrolyte mix to their water. It helps hydrate them better after going a few days without food or water, and I think it's worth the small extra cost. When setting up their water, make sure it's level. If it's not, the water could leak out into the brooder, which you definitely don't want. Since the chicks might not have had water before, gently dip each chick's beak into the water to help them learn where to hydrate. Be gentle, and watch for them to go back for more on their own. It's a good sign they've figured it out. Next up is their food. I use a 20% protein starter grower mix, and I've linked that below as well. I don't use a heat lamp. Instead, I prefer a chick brooder that uses radiant heat. It's safer, cozier, and allows the chicks to choose the warmth they need by moving to the perfect spot on the heat gradient. It's always satisfying to see the chicks eating, drinking, and settling in happily after their journey. I use small chick waterers and feeders to prevent accidents like drowning, as you might notice one chick almost doing in the video. For their food, I start them on a medicated feed with high protein to support growth. I also use chick grit, which is much smaller than adult chicken grit, and sprinkle it on their food every few days. Grit helps them digest their food since chickens don't have teeth and need something to help break down food in their gizzards. As you can see, the chicks quickly discover and enjoy the warmth of the brooder, which mimics a mother hen more closely than a heat lamp. It's especially important to train any pets to be safe around chickens. I've created a separate video on how we trained our dogs to protect our chickens, which you can find linked below. For the first few weeks, we keep the chicks inside. When to introduce them to the outdoors depends on the weather and their age, rather than a specific time. I'll link a handy chart that shows the temperatures chicks can handle at various ages. Since the weather was warm, we started taking them outside around 2 to 3 weeks old. When introducing bedding, I wait until the chicks are a couple of weeks old, then switch from paper towels to shavings. At this stage, I also raise the height of the radiant heat brooder since they don't need as much warmth anymore. Around 4 to 5 weeks old, the chicks are ready for longer trips outside. If the weather permits, I keep them outside during the day in a secure pen with covers to protect them from predators. If it's still cold where you live, it's best to wait until they're fully feathered before letting them spend long periods outside. As they get older, we start introducing them to our older chickens. I like to move their pen closer to the older hens so they can get to know each other safely. I've also made a video on safely introducing young chicks to older hens, which is linked below. Finally, when the chicks are fully integrated with the older hens, it's essential to train them to come when called, especially if you plan to free-range them. Raising chicks might seem a bit daunting at first, but once you've done it once, it becomes second nature. The key is to provide them with food, water, clean shelter, the right temperature, and a little excitement to keep them from getting bored. If you're not already following us on Instagram, our handle is Backyard Chicken Tales. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave your best chick raising tips in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.